watching our special coverage so far as the GST Council meeting is concerned. Of course, that meeting is currently going on in New Delhi, where Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is presiding over that meeting. And of course, the finance ministers of several states are also attending that meeting. In fact, what we're learning from sources is that GST on travel to religious travel via choppers has been brought down to 5 to 18%. Remember, this is also something that Uttarakhand Finance Minister earlier in the day had also proposed. In fact, proposal on GST on online transactions of up to 2,000 rupees will now go to the Fitment Committee for further deliberations. However, no relief really coming in for the insurance sector. And to discuss, the outcomes and of course what we're learning from our sources as of now, as far as the GST Council meeting is concerned, Aisha Hussaini continues to join us. Aisha, I want to get your word in so far as, the insurance sector is concerned. This was the much awaited announcement. In fact, this issue was something that was also debated and discussed in the parliament by opposition as well. And, Nitin Jairam Gadkari, Union Minister, had also spoken about this. But now that relief not really seeming to coming in as far as this GST Council meeting is concerned, it might be taken up in the next meeting. Give us a sense of, the kind of relief it would have brought to the sector. And, directionally, where do you see that matter headed now?
No, sure. I think, it's been the demand of the insurance sector for a really, really long time, given the, inhibition that Indians as a society have towards medical insurance. The sector believes that the exemption would have supported the increase of insurance coverage in the medical sector. Unfortunately, what we are hearing, I think, at this point is that this is something which has been kept on hold. Of course, there is a huge impact on the exchequer due to this kind of an exemption if it were to be brought in. So it's a delicate balance that the minister has to do, and I think there is more debating that the government has to probably do before we can have a final decision on this. But it would have been a good relief, not only for the insurance sector but also for the general population, the society at large. It would have been a good step forward directionally from an insurance coverage standpoint.
Yes, Aisha. In fact, the other big expectation is related to online gaming as well. In fact, the industry has been expecting some sort of relief to come in so far as the GST of 28% is concerned. In fact, the tax notices that were also slapped on so many of these companies, the retrospective taxation, that is also one of the key expectations. But how do you think? Do you think how much relief will the industry get so far as today's meeting is concerned, or do you see this matter deferred? What are your expectations?
I think the initial inputs seem to suggest that there is status quo on this subject. I don't think the industry is, going to be. Obviously, the industry was expecting a relief, especially in view of a provision which was brought in at the time of the budget, Section 11A, which empowered the government to relax GST collections in certain cases where the industry or industry practice has been otherwise. And therefore, there was hope that some of these issues will see a positive outcome from an industry standpoint. But I think the initial inputs that we are hearing at this point is that there is status quo on the online gaming issue. One will have to see and wait for the fine print. But I think this would be an ongoing discussion, if I were to put it that way, from an industry point of view. Because it's a huge sort of impact from the industry as a whole. And there is litigation pending all the way to the Supreme Court, and it will need to be resolved. An outcome from the government side would have been beneficial in resolving it. But we need to wait for the fine print. But if what is being sort of circulated at this point, if it is status quo, I think it would be a setback for the gaming industry.
Absolutely a setback for the gaming industry. And one final question, Aisha, before we let you go, I want to understand the kind of, impact that this GST of 28% and, of course, all of these retrospective tax notices that have been sent to companies, what kind of an impact is the industry currently reeling under?
So, retrospective taxation has never been a positive thing for business and industry at large, right? And therefore, since they were delayed, assessments due to COVID and other reasons, and the impact really coming out in the last 1.5 years for actions which have been taken as behind as 17, 18 in view of certain discrepancies or lack of clarity in the law. I think there is a need to develop trust with assessees, and some relief on this account will go in a long way. The impact of 28%, I think, goes without saying. If the entire amount is taxed at 20%, 28%, like the industry has been saying, I think it's going to be an unviable situation. And therefore, via media, at least, if not an entire waiver, is something which is highly recommended.
All right, Aisha, thank you very much for your thoughts and, of course, your perspectives on what could be the final outcome. You're saying that not major relief could come for the gaming sector so far as those retrospective tax notices and, of course, the GST of 28% is concerned. On that note, thank you very much, Aisha, for joining us here and sharing your thoughts with us.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.